everybody and welcome back to Connor here, Oldies TV, my first video in a little while. Yes, I've had a haircut, yes, I've got some flowery shorts and I hope you had a wonderful Christmas. On Boxing Day now, and listen, it's been a great time for me, my family, all round. I hope you had a wonderful time with your family, your loved ones. That's the most important thing. Listen, football's not the most important thing. We all think that it is, but it really isn't. There's so many things in life that we should look forward to and that we should embrace, and it's not football at times like this, it is your family, it's everything like that. Listen, I've not got my microphone, my normal microphone. I am home, as I'm sure you can all understand. Just shows how much you guys follow me when you all notice that I'm home or when I'm away sort of thing. I'm at home now in York. But listen, as you can tell, I'm a little bit downbeat. I think I've finished swearing at the TV now. It's just passion that runs through me, if I'm being brutally honest with you. 8 points clear. We've got off with one today, massively. Got off with one from the teams around us. Brentford are coming very, very strong, and they'll be a force in the latter half of the season. I'm telling you that. A lot of the top six to play at home as well. Brentford are definitely going to be a force in the next coming year, so we need to keep an eye on that. I thought we were really poor today, and the reason I mentioned Brentford is because they're probably the team that I think are going to be catching us, our coattails. Sheffield Wednesday obviously losing in the last minute today, which maybe is going to be a little bit of a character thing for them. Are they going to be able to sustain what they've got for the season? Who knows? Listen, I was saying on my Twitter feed that I still think they're grinding out games, they're going to get points, etc. But like someone pointed out to me on Twitter, they are going to potentially lose a big amount of points with the EFL conduct charge that they might receive. So, on to Leeds anyway. Poor, lethargic, sloppy, naff. Average on and off the ball, didn't win our second balls enough, and it really peeved me off today. My girlfriend's downstairs, and I can't imagine the sort of language that she's had to deal with today, if you will. Listen, after the game we all turn around and we go, oh well, we got a point, we all got a point, so you know, no one addresses the issues. There were so many issues in that game. We didn't turn up the first. Why do we turn up for games and don't think that we can match the opposition's effort? And that's what we didn't do today. We didn't match the opposition's effort. And listen, what is it? How many points is it in 9 games? And yeah, I don't know. I just saw traits of last season for me today. Yeah, and this is just from the heart. I'm not going to go off and go on and have a notepad and start speaking about opposition's games and stuff like that, but it worried me today massively. I didn't think we were good defensively, offensively in the middle. I thought we were atrocious. I thought Eddie opened it up massively in the second half. He was running at the pressing defence. Didn't massively think Bamford did anything wrong, but Eddie naturally opens up the centre backs because he runs at them. Naturally very good on the ball, naturally very quick. So that's obviously going to allow the Preston defenders to come up a level and start making the fouls, start making the little nitty-gritty fouls. We saw that from the likes of Ben Pearson, Alan Brown in the second half, and that's what essentially enabled Leeds to get in there. The second half was much better, but that first half was disgusting, genuinely. You all turn round now because we've got a 1-1, and you'll all turn round and you'll think to yourselves, oh well, maybe Connor's been dramatic. Not dramatic. That first 30 minutes, one of the worst 30 minutes I've ever seen, genuinely, and that's in a Leeds United side. Under Bielsa it's the worst, but I'm genuinely talking a Leeds United side, how bad we were. We could not make a pass, couldn't make any of our combinations. And what was different about Preston? Fair play, they came to Ellen Road and they got a 1-1 draw, but what was different? Didn't do anything, packed out the midfield. Strong, resolute defensive structure. Was it the holidays? Why are they turning up and we're not turning up? I just think, quite frankly, we just couldn't be arsed today in the first 45. Just couldn't be bothered. Thought we'd come and steamroll Preston, and we didn't. We didn't at all. If anything, they should have been 2-0 up, and that would have probably killed the game if I'm being brutally honest with you. And listen, the reason I'm being like this is because we need to step it up. Listen, these are the problems that were with Leeds United last season, and we saw at this sort of point. Obviously the Christmas period, what was it, 3-2 away at Villa, 3-2 at home to Blackburn, when we didn't really need to make that game as difficult as we did, but we didn't turn up, and listen, we fought back. Credit where credit's due. Leeds United were good in the second half, but we need to really step it up now. And I know it's 8 points, but I find myself saying that a lot, but 8 points is nothing in this division. It really isn't, especially when, let's be right, you're as inconsistent as Leeds United. Obviously, we've gone on the massive unbeaten run, unbeaten in 11. Listen, unbelievable, but we're coming into a period of games now where the squad is evidently stretched. Roberts didn't play today, Shackleton didn't play today. I don't know why that was the case. Dallas eventually scored, but I thought Roberts in that middle would have caused them a lot more problems. We didn't have that anchor in the midfield where we could turn on our back foot and start putting Bamford in, start putting Costa in, start putting Harrison. I thought Harrison actually had a really good game. I thought Alioski had a good game. You know, the left side were the best side for me today. But we didn't have that player in the creative midfield standpoint who could open up Preston, and that's where we suffered. You know, that's where maybe Roberts isn't fit enough to play for this Leeds United side at this moment in time. But I thought Shackleton in and around there would have caused a little bit more energy, a little bit more opening up of the play from the opposition standpoint. We didn't have that today. We were slow, we were lethargic, we were naff in the midfield, as I've already said. I thought there were so many off performances today. Click wasn't in it at all. If I'm being brutally honest with you guys, I don't think he's been in it for this season, if I'm being brutally honest. I think defensively we've been insane and much better this season, but I don't think overall as a team we've been much better than last season. As Oscar points out consistently in his videos, he actually thinks last season we were 10 times better, but this season we've been more defensive resolute, which may cloud a few's opinion on Leeds United this season. But I thought Phillips was awful today, consistently giving balls away. We didn't have that person in the midfield, spread it out wide to start to keep Leeds ticking. One touch pass. It was 4 or 5 touch pass, lose it, get intercepted. I thought Pearson, I thought Brown, I thought Barkhausen on the left hand side did a wonderful job against Leeds, completely shut us out, but they weren't anything special. But Leeds United bit Leeds United again today, you know, and I know it's a point and you might think I'm being dramatic, but for me that performance wasn't good enough and we got away with it today. We got away with it with other teams' results, and we got away with it with Stuart Dallas's deflected shot that went into the top corner. But I thought Leeds were poor today. We could have won the game toward the end, but even on Preston's standpoint, I think that'd have been completely unjust because they more than deserved a point today. Really poor display for me for this Leeds United side. If you come on here and you think that we played well, then I think you're just clouded by the fact that we got a 1-1 draw, and I think a lot of people do that. We score a goal and then suddenly, oh, wonderful, we're only so-and-so points behind. You got to look at the general structure of the game. Yeah, we got a point, but we're nowhere near good enough today, and we should have won that game. You know, a lot of people coming in today and thinking, you know, is it going to be 2? Is it going to be 3? Maybe that's the ignorance and the naivety of some Leeds United fans, including me, because I get told that I'm too negative. But you know, today I said we win 3-0, and I came into the game and Leeds completely underwhelmed me. A lot of you might think that I'm being a little bit dramatic here. I'm not being dramatic. I can just see carbon copies of last season. And Leeds need to drastically improve for me. I do worry about Dallas in that centre midfield position massively. I know he scored the goal, but throughout the game wasn't offering himself enough clip. I don't know what's going on with him at this moment in time. I mean, you know, someone's going to chuck some stats at me, but throughout the entire game, if I'm watching a game from a general perspective, I don't think he's been good enough today. I don't think he's been good enough in recent weeks. A lot of you are going to turn around and say, listen, he got his goal of the month against Middlesbrough. Fantastic. Well, you know, you look at his general play during games, and for me, it's not good enough. Eddie actually came on, made a massive difference, and maybe that says something about January. Maybe that's just something about January for me, because I think when Eddie comes on, he does stretch the game. He runs at defenders, and you saw that today. And when Leeds United are going into the latter 23 games, or 22 games now for me, in general, do we need someone who's going to come on and be able to impact the game as well as he is? Are we going to be able to get a second striker, Ryan Brewster, Cenk Tosun, that have been rumoured, who are going to be as good as Eddie? Not for me, in my personal opinion, nowhere near. This kid's going to be playing for a top club in the Championship, and if we let him go, it's going to be a real sad, sorry sight for me in the Championship. But listen, 1-1 draw. I am dejected because I expected a real performance from Leeds today. You know, a sellout crowd at Ellen Road. You can't deny that you were disappointed by that performance. And if you're coming on this video, please don't turn around and get upset at it because I've said that, you know, this, that and the other, because it's a draw. It is a draw, yeah, and I'll get loads of dislikes on this video. Listen, I'm accustomed to it because I review the whole performance. We got a draw, but it's not been good enough for me, this performance. You know, have the last 3 been good enough? You know, Cardiff, fair enough, 65 minutes were absolutely superb, and I came out and I said that we're absolutely excellent in the review. but we've got to close that game out. Didn't close that game out. Fulham, I didn't think we were good enough, if I'm being brutally honest with you. Yeah, we got psyched out by a penalty decision, but it was too open, way too open for me. And the fact that we had to go at Nketiah up front in the second half just tells you what Marcelo Bielsa was thinking about the game. Had to take a midfielder off, had to bring an attacker off. We looked way too open in that second half for me, and they were coming forward. And this game, nowhere near up to the standard. And I think this was the one where I thought, fair enough, you know, Cardiff, we've had a little bit of a blip. Fulham, you can kind of understand it, down in the capital, not good enough. We've been done over by a referee decision, but today, 85 minutes in this game, we're second best. Weren't winning our second balls, which is all just about an effort and endeavour. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If this has been too brutally honest with you, for you, stick a dislike on the video if you've enjoyed it and you think that I'm talking a little bit of sense. I don't think I am half the time, but listen, I think I've got it pretty spot on with this video. I don't think that was good enough, and I don't think that's good enough for Leeds United fans. Listen, 8 points clear, so I guess you can take that, but I'm not. I can't be doing with turning around every game and next week. You know, for example, if it doesn't go for us, turning around and saying, well, it's still 6 points because it's a match review. It's all about the game, the actual holistic game. Is it been good enough? And it wasn't good enough today against a Preston team, for me, who were there to be taken. There, who set up defensively resolute, but this is a Leeds United side. We need to be breaking through that. Should Roberts have come on earlier? Should Shackleton have come on earlier? Do you think Dallas should have played the whole game? Obviously got the equaliser, but there were way too many off performances for me today. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below.